Alright, howdy hey, Nikoleta people. Today, I'll be quickly running you through the Nikoleta Tugpart installation. I will not be going over the tug itself, as it's pretty straightforward. However, if we find any issues with people trying to install the tug, I'll definitely make a video on it later. I'm going to be splitting this video into 3 parts, as it gets pretty confusing. The first part is what is mandatory for the tug to work with your plane. The second part will be how to get the tiller to work, so if your plane supports it, you can make the gear rotate with the tug. The third part will be for any developers looking to make their plane more compatible with the tug, and that's really about it. We tried to make the installation for this as simple as possible, though I know it will be confusing to some, and that's why I've decided to not make the tiller mandatory at all, and you will see this in the steps. Alright, now as soon as you insert your tug, you will find the Nikoleta Tugpart. You just want to go over to it, and you can duplicate it, you can drag it out the folder, but this part has to be on every plane, so ideally you do want to store it somewhere. So I'm actually going to duplicate it here, and we're just going to drag it over to our plane. Now, just go over here and copy the position of something on your plane, such as the wheels here. I'm just going to copy that and paste it into the Tugpart, and then you can go ahead and scale it to the wheel size. I already had it scaled, so I'm going to keep it the same. You can also just go to the wheel again and copy the scale and paste it into the Tugpart. And now you want to go over here into the Tugpart, and it's going to be overwhelming because there are a lot of values, but really it's quite simple. You just want to select the pilot seat and set it to the pilot seat in the plane. So I think it's over here. If you don't find it, you can also just open the folder for the plane. And as you can see, it's here, captain seat, just set it to that. And then select the plane value and set it to your plane. And then you just want to weld the part to the gear using this little weld here. Ideally try to find a place that is low on the gears. See, like here, it was the upper strut. We don't want that. We want it to be on the lower side of the gears. So let's try again. And yeah, that seems to be fine. And then you can just hide your tug part. Now, there's a very crucial step. Let me actually clear the rotation here. It's a very crucial step, and I'll show you 2 ways to do this. You have to make sure the Tugpart is facing the front of the plane. So you can either do this by adding a decal, and as you can see here, it's on the front side, and that means we're good to go. The second way to do this is you can come over here to File, click on Customize Shortcuts, and search Indicator, and you'll find Show Orientation Indicator. Just set this to whatever key, and now if you select the Tugpart and press it, you'll see here it's saying that the front is this way, which is the front of the plane, so we're good to go. Now, if you encounter any issues, you may need to enable strict mode, especially on planes like Zerotech, and then the tug should absolutely work. If you also experience any issues with the tug wiggling side to side, you may need to remove the tiller, such as on planes like Zerotech, as for some reason they refuse to be compatible with that. Now, lastly, just drag the part anywhere in your plane model, and you should be fine. Ideally, you do want it in the parent, this main model here, or you want it in like animation parts, so it doesn't like collide with the gears and such. And really, you can stop watching here, but if you do want to make the plane gear rotate with the tug, then follow along, but it will be confusing. Okay, so first off, there are 2 ways that a plane creates its tiller, and either it'll be already created, or you will have to find out where it's going to end up when the plane initializes itself and set specific values. So I'll try to give you an example on Airware and Zerotech, because those 2 give you an example of both styles. Here on Airware, we have to select the tiller parent, and we have to set the value to a part called wheel front. This one over here. And then once the plane initializes itself, and I'll show you how you can find the name for the tiller by just running the game here. Then if we search wheel front and go to that part, as you can see, once it initializes, you will find the little motor for the tiller. You can also just rotate this, and as you can see, it rotates the gears, so this is the motor we're looking for. It can also be a weld, it can be a bone, but in this case, it's a motor. So you can just stop. If you remember, it was called wheel front, the motor that it created. So we're gonna set tiller name over here to wheel front, and that should be all. Now on Zerotech, it's a little bit more straightforward, since all you really have to do is select the tiller value over here and set it to where the tiller is. So over here on the 737, the Zerotech 737, it's in steering root, and it's this motor called hinge, so we just set it to that. However, like I mentioned, Zerotech does have issues with the tiller, so I do not really advise you to use it on it in the first place. This is just an example for those planes which do use this method. Now, if the tug turns too much for your plane, you can also lower the tiller max angle, so it's more suitable for it. Now, you can stop watching here. The rest is going to be exclusively for developers. Okay, so I've added some values here that might seem useful to you, such as tiller angle, which tells you the angle of the tiller right now. It's a -1 to 1 value, and it's based on the tiller max angle. The tiller angle value over here, you can set this to a value on your plane if you have one already, which is for the tiller angle, so you can read it directly instead, or have the tug update it for you automatically, so that can be useful. Tugged value here can be very useful. You can just set it to whatever value you have on your plane. It tells the plane that it is tugged, and then based on that, you can just do whatever the hell you want to do with it. But yeah, the tug will set that value to true or enabled once it's connected to the plane, and then disable it once it's disconnected. That's really about all. I'm really sorry for the confusion, I know, but I've really tried to make this as simple as possible. I hope every dev can install this by default, so it's simple for customers. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for choosing Nikoleta.